we are open for public comments. And we have Mr. Brown with us. And James was here, but he's left. And Jim Norse was here, but he's left.
And I actually do not have any comments today.
Okay.
So, thank you.
So, we're moving right along.
Gonna have to send that contractor after you more often.
All right. Holy crappy, let's do the approval of the October 19, 2023 public session minutes.
I'll move them.
I'll second.
Thank you, David, thank you, Ben, do we have any changes, additions,
have anything.
deletions? You didn't,
Super duper.
Ben, anything? All those in favor say aye.
Ben, aye?
David, aye.
And Judy, aye. 1019, okay, those are approved. And that means we are, okay. Sorry, it just takes me a minute to make notes, such as they are. Dina, the great
Yes.
packet, thank you.
The what
Very-
packet?
The packet, very
Oh.
helpful.
Oh, good. That's helpful for you, because it's confusing me, don't I? Told you, my brain is not recovered from last night at
Oh.
all.
So the questions that we had earlier about town and school, this sheet lays out.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not updated correctly, so
Okay.
never
so
mind,
ignore it.
you'll get a new one.
And as Mr. Brown was coming in, I think we did hire the assessor. We're going to send the contract to our attorneys to draw up one that has all of the things in it that we need, which includes an escape clause, and we will be doing either a 2 or 3 year multi-year contract. But we can opt out of it. And
Madam Chair, could you say that last bit again? Hiring the contractor, the
we
assessor,
hire the assessor,
and then it's,
and then we're gonna send the contract, there's a contract attached here, but we're gonna send it to our legal,
yes?
have them draw up a contract.
Okay.
And it
And the
will
dir-
include an escape clause, it will be either a 2 year or 3 year.
So really, we're not hiring the assessor yet because you don't have, we're not
We don't
hiring him
have-
until you have a contract.
Right.
You have
right.
decided to offer him a contract.
That's right,
Okay.
that's the.
Very
right.
good.
Correct.
Yes.
Excellent. And that would be either a 2 or 3 year contract?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And it also will go to the DRA, I forgot to mention that, they have to approve it too.
Okay,
Excuse me, sorry, I need a copy.
okay,
The contract I really didn't like was with the bridge engineer.
oh, the Lyme Thetford Bridge,
No.
No, our cover bridge.
oh, the covered bridge,
Yeah. That is affirmatively an obnoxious contract.
okay.
For example, it says that no matter what he does wrong, even if it's intentional malfeasance or negligence, that our ability to make a damages claim against him is limited to what we've paid him.
Aha.
So if he decides he doesn't like the bridge
And he
and
knocks it
deliberately structures it to go into the river, and we've paid him $1,000, that's
what we get back.
that's obnoxious.
Okay.
That's not, I wouldn't,
You don't like
I'm
that?
not in favor of
Okay.
agreeing to that.
How do you really feel about that, David? Okay, I also wanted to update, Mr. Brown. We did the tax rate that we received from the state was $26.20 per thousand,
2620?
which is a 9-something% increase, and we voted to draw that down by applying $350,000 from our fund balance, which means it will be a rate of $25.35, which is a 5.71 increase from this year.
Wow, okay.
Worth noting in that context that last year the tax rate decreased by 9.7%, something like that. So even if we did nothing, if you look at it over a 2-year period, it's essentially a flat tax rate. Still, we thought the uptick of 9% was a little bit high, and so we wanted to buy it down and get it under 6%.
Okay. Thank you for updating me there.
You're welcome. Okay. We have a bullet that talks about discussing capital review funding schedule for the highway trucks.
Yeah, I don't have a schedule per se for you, but I have some numbers.
Okay, so presently they are on a 12-year replacement schedule?
These are the 550s that we're talking about, and they're on a 10-year.
10-year schedule, okay.
And Scott has requested that they be changed to a 7-year.
Mhm.
There's that, will you pass one to Dave, those two to David?
Yep.
So Jordan took the 2011 F550, which is the first one on the top there, and went back and tracked everything.
Oh, all the
It's-
repairs and whatnot.
Yeah, so if you go from the 6-year out, he wants it
Every
7 years. Then he can purchase a warranty that covers 7 years. So in essence, 95% of these costs wouldn't be there. So the 2011, from the 7th year on, has cost us $47,699 in repairs.
Well, wait a minute, it says total spent 56,000.
Yeah, but that's over the whole life of the truck.
Okay,
So I'm going from the 7th year till now,
okay,
those are the additional ones that would,
so that's
if we had a
12
warranty.
years.
If you had a warranty that covered the 7 years, you would have saved $48,000.
Well,
And
what
with
was the
the-
price of the warranty?
About, oh my God, he just told me that yesterday, and I thought it's under $10,000.
Okay.
Is that an annual or it's one-time fee?
It's one time for 7 years.
It's a one-time fee you buy when you, purchase the truck.
And then the next question is, of all these costs, which ones would be covered under the warranty?
90% of them. Other than the regular oil changes, which, well, they usually do those themselves, but, some tires, stuff like that. Well, that comes out of a different fund though.
So we have a lot of, there's a dump body repair, a tailgate repair,
Yeah, I don't imagine body damage is going to be covered under the warranty.
Yeah, that would be a good question for Scott. But from what I understood, the ones that were included were ones that would be covered by this. Him and Scott and Jordan looked at this stuff together, so.
Because when you look at this, Dina,
But we
a
can
lot of the
confirm.
bigger numbers are things like repair dump body, truck,
yeah.
dump body repair.
Well, like I said, Scott and Jordan looked at this, so you'd have to ask Scott to clarify. I can have him go through it and mark the ones that he absolutely knows would be part of the warranty. But it looks like that would be a smart move anyways.
Do you know why our former road agent was not interested in buying warranties?
No clue. I don't know.
Well, if we kept the trucks for 12 years, the warranty would have covered the 7 years.
Well, that's the big trucks, but 12 years is the big truck.
I'm sorry, I'm
That's
stuck
okay.
on that
I
number.
know, I know.
10 years, so there would have been 3 years that
Yeah.
it would have been out
Right.
anyway, but, yeah, if in fact this is close to what we would have not had to spend if we had the warranty, we probably need to refine it a little bit. It would look like the warranty would pay for a bunch of stuff.
Well, it looks like it, but again, it'd be a lot better for everybody looking at this to.
To get that refined,
Right,
yep.
right.
It's kind of surprising, isn't it? Like, why would someone sell you a warranty for 10 grand that was gonna cover 50 grand worth of repairs?
Well,
Well, I
there's some on here that clearly aren't.
I suspect that
Easy
each,
seal and.
each truck also is different, you know, we have one truck that every time you turn around, something's wrong with it. And then, you know, I call it a lemon. I mean, the 2016 has been crazy.
And that's the
But-
one we have over here.
Mhm.
Well,
But either way,
We
I
should-
think Scott should take a little time and definitely research and make sure that the number is attributed to stuff that would be
Mhm.
covered by warranty.
Yeah.
And then it would be true and factual.
and that, then we use the 10 years, so 2011, we're still using that even though it's beyond the 10 years.
Mhm.
Is that due to be
It's,
bought this year?
no, actually, that one's gone. That
The
one's
11
gone.
is gone now?
Yep.
Yeah, you can almost go through and look at the ones that are from the Ford places. But certainly the Easy Steel is right away at 7,000 or 8,000. And then there's Towing, Sable and Son.
Okay, so we'll do that.
All right,
I'll have
we'll
Scott.
refine that up, okay, those numbers,
Yeah,
and certainly let them know that we appreciate that suggestion and are seriously considering it.
yeah, and I can run the capital reserve fund so you can see what it'll look like.
Yes.
Just, to be clear, his proposal is that we buy a warranty that covers the trucks for 7 years and only keep the trucks for 7 years thereafter.
Have them on a rotating schedule of 7 years. The 550s,
Yeah, just the five.
and then change.
How many of those are there?
Three, because we have the one that we do the mag stuff with. And then the big trucks, eventually, not right away, he doesn't wanna put too much out at once, but eventually the big trucks go from 12 to 10.
And that's just to shorten the time that we keep
Same.
them, but
Same reason,
Well,
it's sort of like at the end.
is there a warranty for 10 years or no?
Well, I don't know about that, but I just know that the trucks
They
end
get
up,
beat up.
end up getting very beat up, and 12 years for a truck that's run, you know, all the time, every day, plowed with hard, worked with hard, you know, then you start having some pretty expensive repairs
Yeah.
towards the end of its life.
Plowing is tough on vehicles.
I also was gonna look, and I still will, I have no clue what other towns do, so I think it would be
That would be good,
beneficial
well,
to
and,
look.
Mr. Malcolm would like that as well, probably. The budget
Also-
committee.
One other question about the 550 proposal, the proposal for the 550 trucks. Could you, maybe Scott has already done this, but could you ask him to confirm that he's checked that the warranty is applicable to vehicles that are being used commercially? Because a lot of times, those extended warranties are not, they're designed for, residential use or something like
Yeah,
that, but if
it
you're
is.
using.
Yeah, but I will make sure he double, triple checks that, cause I know the guy we deal with is the guy that does only municipal stuff,
Okay.
where we purchase the truck, so, or not municipal stuff, business,
Commercial,
commercial, thank you.
anytime. Okay. So we've done that. Oh, now comes the fun part. Dina, what time do you have to leave? 10 o'clock?
No, I have a 10-15 minute ride, and I have to be there at 11, so,
10:30 at the latest.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
good, I gotta get out of here too.
Oh, So let's do a short budget review with the acknowledgement that next Thursday, we will most likely have a budget workshop, so we're prepared to present to the budget committee the following Wednesday.
And I want you to save enough time to talk about the Edgeo Bridge too. I know it's not on here,
It's not on your show,
but it should have been.
okay. How did that not get on here? Okay,
But you don't have to act on it because you'll wanna look at it.
Yeah,
and
we
think
wanna
about it
look at the
anyways,
Edgeo
but I
Bridge,
can
but-
just give you a quick,
all right, let's, basically, the budget. Let me give you my thoughts on it, we can have sort of this global discussion, and then we will delve into the areas that we're gonna cut or increase. I have been concerned over the last couple of years, we have really trimmed back, trying to hold down costs. I feel strongly that the core of what goes on in this town is supported by our staff, our workers, they work really hard. I think a 3% increase in their wages does not cover realistically the cost of living. We know that food costs went up 7%, other costs have gone up more than 3%. We've had a couple of department heads ask to be able to give their workers a 5% increase, I'd like to consider that. That will be, as you know, that will affect not just their salaries, but also their benefits. There were a couple of wish list items that went into this budget that I would propose maybe we take out, this is not the year to do that. And we may or may not be looking at, we won't know probably till after the budget is pretty much finalized, whether or not we're gonna do a reval next year or in 25 or 26.
Right.
Not 24, so
Right.
that's hanging out there as an unknown. And I had one other thing, but it's escaped my Swiss cheese brain.
you'll think of it as you go along.
Yeah, I will, but anyway, so, guys, if we wanna run through this, or we can wait till next time, but I would welcome your thoughts and sort of a global discussion on where we are.
In terms of, increasing compensation for folks, I guess the first thing I wanna see is what that does to the numbers, you know, if you go from 3% to 4%, what does that do?
I think that
Those
Dina,
numbers are in that chart that I just gave you.
This one, Dina?
The budget, yes. Everybody's salary in there is calculated at a 5%. And as you know, I was running around like crazy, so I did not get a final, let me look at this one thing, and see if I have.
Doesn't look like it does that.
Well, it does.
so
So if you go to line
59 total.
line 15, on the front, as you see, the administrators,
Oh, that's.
5%. The clerk, 5%.
So total operating budget with the 5% and as it was presented by the department requests would be a 6.6% increase.
Right.
So-
Wait, say that again, Judy?
The department requests, which this draft budget shows, plus including the 5% wage increase across the board, has an operating budget expense up 6.6%. It would be your last page, page 10. Total operating expense.
So what's the dollar value difference between a 3% and a 5% increase?
All right, so your total wages have gone down, either way, 3% or 5%, because of the makeup of what employees you have now, and the amount their wages are. And it's calculated, some of the replacement people in departments are new, so they're getting paid less than experienced people. We have a retirement next year, so that makes a difference
That
in
helps.
the wage. So, at a 3%, your total wages are down about $38,000.
At 3%.
Lower than what it was this year.
$38,000, and what is the 5%? Did you calculate that?
The 5% comes, I'm showing 37,000, just under
Just
37.
one.
Yeah, but I'm not, like I said, I threw that together, the final part this morning,
Really
so
fast.
I would need to.
Doesn't seem right,
It
but-
does not seem right,
It doesn't
that's
seem
why
like
I
it's
said,
calculating, but
let me, but either way,
we can,
hang on.
between now and next Thursday, well, hopefully before next Thursday, maybe like on Tuesday, we can get all this draft stuff
Right.
out, so we have a chance to
Right,
really.
yes, and your
Got it.
personnel costs are increased by a little over $25,000.
Mhm. And that
And
is,
that's because of the change in insurance,
yeah,
even though the percentage doesn't match the 15.6, because your employees changed, so did, whether it was a family plan or a single plan, and it changed enough to only increase it a couple percent.
that's nice.
Yeah,
Okay. I don't have any other really global discussions, but I'm gonna go home and mark this up.
well, it needs to be double checked anyways.
Cut out the pennies here and there
I like
and
that.
see, if we can support that. Rich?
The information that the budget committee got last night, is that worth looking at for following along here? Is the information you're looking at substantially the same or not?
It's pretty much, I
Okay.
believe that Dina is still showing department requests.
Yes.
So the other numbers, the board does not have a select board line
Sure.
yet.
Okay, thank you.
Right, but just so
Except-
you know, the one that I gave you guys,
Yep,
even though it says department above it, I just filled in what you had asked me to put in.
oh,
So
okay,
that's why when you look at the bottom, it's the 6 point whatever.
okay.
It has the 5% in there, it has,
Oh,
cause I had to do it quickly.
yeah, I understand the
Okay,
5%, but
okay.
not, the other lines have not changed. That's,
Okay.
I think, was your question.
Thank you.
At least that was my answer.
That's right, and that's, it's good enough to know that's close.
Yes.
And thank you.
Is the 5% number tied to anything?
I think it was, several department heads made that request, and actually, I felt comfortable at least looking at that number when I heard about the cost of food, which we all need, and we know that, I guess, oil and propane, and gasoline, all of those costs continue to fluctuate pretty dramatically. So maybe the answer is not really, a 4%, or I think 3% doesn't do it
That's what the 3%
for the,
is what the Northeast Region CPI
Yep.
is showing.
yep.
I just worry a little bit if we're just decoupling it and going by the seat of our pants,
I guess
mean, It's nice to be generous, but we're also struggling to keep
we are,
the tax rate down and the town expense down. If we start raising it just because we think
well,
we wanna be
it
more
wasn't
generous.
because
then-
I was trying to be more generous, but when I was reading all the financials that I've read, which I have to,
Yeah, you get the lion's share of that, so.
you see the COLA and the CPI, but then in the same article, you see, here's this piece that's above it, here's this piece that's above it, and if
What
all
are the
those
pieces
pieces
that are
are
below?
above it,
Yeah, and there has to be some averaging going on, so you have to look at what
what was less.
Yeah,
And
and if there are things that don't apply to town employees, then that bolsters your argument, but, okay.
I will try and continue to do more research, although I have to say it's tough reading for me. But it doesn't mean I won't do it. You know, the day-to-day stuff is what hits everybody. It's not the one-time expenses or,
COLA comes in at 3.2%, it looks like.
Right,
yep.
cost of chicken's still up, you know,
It's
sorry.
focused on chicken. I'm gonna buy you
That's
some little
because it
chicks.
is when we buy for the cafe, it's totally amazing. I don't know what they're doing to chickens nowadays to make them so expensive, but it's like
Well, wasn't there a big
3
giant,
times
there
more.
were a couple big chicken plants that got destroyed this last year, like fires or something.
I
I
didn't know
remember
anything
reading in
about
the
that,
news, like these big Purdue
Purdue
plants
Every
Yes.
time we turn around.
that got
I'm like,
destroyed, so that's probably causing. The other thing I read that was completely out of whack was the cost of bacon had gone up,
And
like,
bacon, yeah.
like 10 times, some crazy number, and
Ham,
It's probably-
those are
it's-
ham
well, it's probably the
distribution.
Processing of everything.
Oh, it
People
could
still
be.
can't hire people, you know, to do the work. It's crazy.
Well, who wants to work in one of those processing
Mhm.
plants? Okay,
Not me, but thank goodness somebody
well,
does.
so we will hash this one out, hopefully at our workshop. I mean, we can't punt this one anymore, because,
No, you gotta do it. You gotta make a decision.
And I would like to, if Dina, I think you got this already maybe, but if we could get the total dollar delta between a 3% and a 5% increase, what that does in terms of the cost to the town. I mean, if it's really $1,000,
I
then we
know.
already spent too
Well, I
much time
just
talking
ran the
about it, but-
percentages and it's like a 3.7 as opposed to a 3.2 less. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
but I
So
will
we've got our
definitely do that.
marching orders there.
I'll give you that last page that shows the.
Yeah, I don't
totals
want the
of
delta
everything.
from last
Right.
year, what I want is, you know, if we increase it 3% next year, what's it gonna cost? What if we increase it 5% next year, what's it gonna cost, and what's the difference between those two numbers?
Okay, yep.
Thank you.
Okay,
And you want the difference just in payroll?
No, payroll and benefits. I'm trying to figure out what, if we
Bottom
decide to
line
go up to
change.
5%, what's that cost the town
Okay,
next year?
I'll tell you.
When I worked at Colt, I generate like $250,000 cost savings.
Right,
You get diddly, and people that were getting the bonuses, all the upper echelon,
Right.
got big fat bonuses for the cost of it.
right,
So
right.
there's
Well,
lots of
It's
inequity.
called worth ethic, and it's called a merit raise, and it's called that, and we just don't do that
We
very
don't.
often.
I mean, we
Do it
could
very
do
often.
merit bonuses, but that wasn't what I was proposing. I was proposing sort of a flat bonus,
Right.
a flat amount, not really based on merit and not really, you know, not really tracking the kind of qualities that
Right.
you're talking about here, but just to sort of help people deal with the fact that it's been a tumultuous year and that you're seeing in labor markets that there's people paying signing bonuses and, you know,
Yeah.
the price of food has gone up by more than the cost of living has gone up, so.
Right.
I mean, maybe you give people a bonus based on a percentage of their salary, in addition to not saddling the town with that cost in perpetuity and just being a
Right.
one-year thing.
Right.
It also means that the employee gets it in a lump sum as opposed to
Yeah.
getting, you know, $37 more each paycheck for the next year,
Which just
which
kinda goes away.
kinda isn't, I mean, I maybe appreciate that, but we probably appreciate a $1,000, $1,200 check more than that. I don't
That's
know.
an interesting thought,
it is an
because it
interesting,
doesn't stay there in perpetuity.
right,
And that's,
and then, you know, this was a tough year,
and
it
it's a thank you, yeah.
is a thank you, and it might be more appreciated than,
Thank you for not going to Home Depot and taking their, you know, $1,700,
Right,
$2,500 signing
signing
bonus.
bonus,
right?
and $25 an hour.
Is, can we just run that by whoever our legal counsel and make sure that we can do that it isn't a problem, or is,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know, just a.
I like that idea, I think in the the people I know who have gotten bonuses, whether it was a regular year-end thing or it was a one-time thing, all seem to really appreciate it. I just never thought we could do it.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, maybe we can't.
It's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know politically how people would receive that either, but
Politically, meaning
the town,
the residents.
the residents, yeah,
Well,
but again,
Well, they fire us all.
yeah.
It's
I'm fairly well
vacation time.
acclimatized
Well, I
to
would
being
like to
tested,
think
so.
everybody would be supportive of it,
I
but
would think, well,
you never know.
you know.
It's their tax dollars too,
It's
you
their
know,
tax dollars.
that's right.
Well,
Okay.
but it's something you can present and defend. You know, it's not going on in perpetuity,
Well, and
it's a short
also,
term
if
based
it
on.
was this Christmas a bonus, it would have to come out of any money that we'd already voted for this year.
Correct.
And then next year's budget wouldn't reflect a big jump in pay rates. So I think that might please people. I would guess that the people that don't like it, and the people that do. That's gonna be kind of the way it goes. But I think it's worth further discussion
I
and,
don't
and
see that as a political jeopardy.
I can't.
Again, I don't think the numbers are gonna be huge. You can generate them, but I don't believe they're gonna be huge.
Probably not.
Yeah, I can generate that if you tell me the percentage, so.
Okay.
All right, but that'll be for a week
Next.
from today.
Next week, yep, yep. I believe we've come to the witching hour of,
Oh, do we want to talk about the Edgeo Bridge?
oh, Edgeo,
Before
I'm
you go
sorry.
into non-public real quick, so I sent you guys all this, and I've had conversations back and forth with Mr. Groton, no, it's Grattan, it's an A. I do that every time. And so,
Is it on or an ant?
it's an A, yeah, I know. Oh, God, grammar, here we go. So.
This is the engineer, Dina?
This is the, no, this is the bridge, repair company, 3G Construction, and our multiple conversations about repairing the bridge. And the fact that it is an emergency and needs to be addressed soon. He talked to the engineer that works with him, his company, which is Ekman Engineering LLC. And so they came up with a tentative estimate of, and I don't have that email, yes I do, 44,000, I think it was.
Yeah,
Um,
that sounds right.
right, for the,
For
for
the,
the total engineering
mhm.
of the bridge. Now, the contract, I asked him to send us a detail of what it would be, that's what I sent you guys. So it goes on task 1, 2, 3, it goes through all the steps. And it's a pay-as-you-go thing. When he completes one task, you pay for it, you don't have to pay for everything up front. So I just wanted everybody to know that number, so that you could give, and what 3G Construction wants to do is start working on this, so that they will be ready to take off in the spring with the construction of it. And not have to wait for all the engineering and all that stuff to be done. You have the authority to approve expenditures out of the Bridge Repair Capital Reserve Fund, which is where this would come from.
Emergency repairs, yeah.
All right. I read through this agreement and the Ekman engineering agreement.
Yeah.
And the one part of it that I don't think I'm comfortable signing off on is this section that says risk allocation. And what that essentially does is it says that the engineering company's liability in all cases is limited to what we've paid them. So even as I read this, even in the case of deliberate malfeasance on their part or gross negligence on their part, they would have no liability to us except what we've paid them. I don't see how we could sign that. That's obnoxious in my view.
Well, this has to go to Naomi first anyways, and it
Okay.
has not gone there. And I know that actual thing has been in a previous contract, and she has said no way.
You can't sign
And
that.
so she changes
I mean,
things.
what this says is, if the guy says, you know, I really don't like those guys in Lyme, I'm gonna burn down the damn bridge, and lights it on fire, our liability is what we paid him, that's insane.
I think today I was looking for your support or a vote to expend some money eventually, you know, so that we can move ahead and do this. Support to move ahead and do this.
I move we, vote to expend the money for the engineering pending, Naomi's, reading of the contract
Revised
and
contract.
and David's concerns.
Yep, I'll buy that.
Okay, so you second that, David? Okay, all those in favor of forwarding this contract to Naomi to revise and spending the 44,000
And,
on approval after revision, and Judy, aye.
And this risk allocation is the kind of stuff that sneaky lawyers throw into contracts when they don't think another lawyer's gonna read it.
See, that's why you're here.
I know, I may have been guilty of.
You might have done that once or twice.
Well, I know one thing, after all the years I've worked here, I'd never bring a contract to this board without having Naomi or Laura or somebody read it.
Yeah, okay, so. Now,
Okay, thank you.
you are welcome.
I don't want that bridge to cave in.
No, we
For
don't.
sure.
Okay. All
I
right,
don't think
that
anybody
will go
does.
out, and then, I do believe it is time, we've got about 20 minutes to do a couple non-public sessions.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn this off, leave the meeting.
Yep,
And you'll probably ask me to leave.
we will.
Will you be reconvening after?
We always reconvene just to end the meeting, but
Yes.
usually we don't.
We
Have any
don't
other-
usually have a lot of
other
other
business.
discussion, and Ben and Dina both have to leave,
Yep.
so.
Good, then I will pack up my toys and bid you adieu.
Okay.
Try not to be late next time.
Jeez
Get your
Louise.
gear and so it's working order.
And then, so the plug didn't work, I don't know what was up with that, so you'll be disappointed to hear that we're missing about 3 minutes while I was
Oh,
scrambling
my
around.
Yeah,
goodness,
you should
Darn.
have heard what David said during
Where'd
that
you
period.
go? Favor and ask him.
okay.
So, Mr. Brown,